Maurizio. So, what did you have for breakfast today?
I think some white pizza and an espresso.
White pizza.
Uh-huh.
Who made the white pizza?
The guy at the oven.
The guy at the oven made the white pizza.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do so in Rome. They do white pizzas, like mosquitoes bites here. You can feel.
And what are you doing tomorrow?
No idea. There is no tomorrow. You were expecting this answer. You were expecting this answer.
Anyway,
So you make rhetorical questions, even reading them from your phone.
so you spent some time at Grimsdyke Farm. You did the workshop with us. The theme was falling. Tell us about falling.
Falling? I think it's a possible state of mind. And maybe it's opposite than rising. Maybe, because I don't see it gravitationally, but more mentally. So it could be even flowing somewhere. Like the leaf from the tree is falling and then flowing by the water.
So how did you interpret this theme as a workshop? The theme falling. How can that be part of the workshop for the students?
I think not having a plan, it's difficult to plan a falling. Just let it happen was the interpretation. And it worked with the few that enjoy this approach. I also think you call it a team, but I don't know what is a team. I have only person, so I can make an addition of people, and then say group, not a team. I don't like teamwork, something to do with sport, which is not my personal method of approaching experience of research.
So let's start again.
Let's think
What
a
is
place
falling?
without mosquitoes.
What is falling?
What is again and again? Why again? Why again?
Because falling again and again.
I think falling next. Falling next, it could be interested in a way of stepping to the next. Since now we are already recalling what happened a while ago. Let's have a next idea for this. Mosquitoes now. Mosquitoes now. We have to change a set here. I am already. I think only mosquitoes can make me falling. They are the only animals I cannot stand. All the rest is great.
Are you sure it's a mosquito? I think it's flies.
I think they are mosquitoes and they are killing. I think we should change our set.
Why would you do that to the handlebar?
Because I don't like the handlebar to be as wide or even wider of your shoulder. And I do understand the meaning of the handlebar to be more stable and equilibrium easier with a wider grab. But I do think that is mentally to me more consistent to be narrower and also asymmetric, because I use only one break, so it's no meaning to have symmetry, the symmetry of two breaks on the handlebar. And also, when I am in the low position on the handlebar to use the brake, the other hand feels more near the body and so meaningful for me to handle there. So the whole view is asymmetry, and I think asymmetry is very important for forms around humans in movement.
We were talking about falling earlier.
Ah, yes.
I
But
think there's a symmetry to falling.
falling is about asymmetry, I guess, because is an unexpected movement, and the body being surprised would not position in symmetry, which is something to do more with a predefined posture. Helicopter.
Do you think there is a material to falling?
There is the material to falling. What do you mean?
Is there a material that is associated with falling?
To me, it's more, when I see falling, I see the leaf. So I would say paper. Paper is a very beautiful material to me. Because recall the idea of the drawing and the idea of the shaping through a pattern. So the pattern itself of the falling paper is quite interesting in the multiple posture that could generate without those being predetermined, but abandoned on to it their own meaning.
So what are the materials that you have chosen to work with the students at Reading Design?
I didn't choose anything. It happened that the farm was not far from a mill which I knew I visited a long while ago, and is a beautiful, maybe one of the few in the world left ancient mill where they were, and they are still tanning with the oak bark, which is a method they apply in Roman-built original basins. So when I was there, first time I spoke with the possibility, which I'm always obsessed, to start with the full thickness of the skin and to reach a sort of minimum thickness, and this according to a shape. So what we apply in the short time in the farm was this idea to mold a scattered piece of the leather on forms that we built, and then to reach the molding and the carving by negative meaning, so removing thickness where it was needed, we achieved a sort of precise surface of the leather on the given shape, to the given shape.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the process that you used with the students, this wet molding of the leather? What happens?
I'm, I could say, obsessed by the idea of a single piece of matter, in this case leather. And in my research at the moment, I want to find any time the limit for this carving, molding, stretching around a given shape, and then potentially continue the process by a pattern that could take into account the left side happening without cutting left laminants. But the limited time in the farm got us still a step of the process. So hopefully that was also my approach. This is just one of the n possible evolution of the project.
Can you tell me more broadly what the project was about? The different body parts and relationship with each other, and how are we supposed to read this?
So this project came to my mind after the collapsing of the previous project, the continuous line pattern around the human body. I wanted to continue that approach of the continuous line into a three-dimensional form that happened already in the memorizing of an end posture. This was brought to the farm just as an example of what the project could achieve in the longer term. But in this particular project, I think we cannot even call it anymore a project. In my mind, this is the summa of the work still now I develop, and it aims to embrace the birth through an uterus and the death through a sarcophagus into a form that hosts the posture of a body which is not, again, a body in symmetry. It's not a dead body. It's a sort of layered form between an uterus in a womb and the dead body in the sarcophagus. So, according to this drone shape, I brought some initial attempt in rattan just to have a three-dimensional view of the possible form. And then with different skills that happen with the different students there, we could develop the digital unit for this frame, the molding of the leather for the body element that refer to the human form within. And most important, if there is a scale of importance, is the sarcophagus in the form of an origami case, which has again a very important to me approach, the idea of reversibility in this possibility of being in one full form could then be open and closed, recognizing the middle position between the open and closed form. But this is really an embryo itself, because for now we reach a form, but now it's something to be scanned. Actually, it happened through the technology that was given outside of the workshop, and now we will wait the next possible step.
Can you tell me a little bit about your thinking behind the digital and the traditional way of making?
I don't know if you're asking this because we already spoke, or it was just one of your question, but this is really the point to me. I personally enjoy this sort of infinity approach between craft and digital and craft, in a language that is not predetermined, but is given by the deeper knowledge and deeper research approach. So we know predetermined limitation according to the two methods. And in this case, what will happen that we have digitally printed this form through the use of, or with the use of a 3D printer. But obviously this is not what is ideally the possibility of a true matter relate with a true shape. This may be because there is no truth, and so it's just the research in this tension between material form and possible way to craft and shape it digitally that this will happen. So it's an infinitive language. And I want to say that the digital, to me, is the closest idea to the grace. The idea of grace is so important because it has to do with the spiritual and deeper meaning of thoughts that are not oriented in a sort of pre-limited, pre-given, predetermined consessment, but it's an infinitive and endless gift that us as human can give to ourselves and to the others of any species interested.
What's your impression of Grimsdyke Farm?
Yeah, I walk with you, Guan, through the landscape in front of the farm, and I personally enjoy this sort of lost, abandoned, sort of cemetery of the works that are back to their original land, original because it's our common, not original for their specific meaning, but somehow they now belong and they will always belong without this need of being exposed in a predetermined manner. So this choice of doing and burying or doing and living is somehow a very free mindset that I appreciate.
What about the environment for the students as a learning environment?
This is the weak point. I personally invite you here in Rome to sleep in a dormitory that was related to a previous monastery. And I think the time in common should be a time for research, for deeper knowledge of ourselves, and not this sort of modern time of chilling out. And somehow I had this feeling which is not mine. Chilling out is to me something related to a general vibe that doesn't belong to, like now, personal relation, but to a wider meaning of people together, and somehow is a way of approaching which I'm not visiting anymore, because I like the personal, direct relation in terms of a dialogue. And in the chilling out atmosphere, these dialogues or those dialogues get very frustrated in their inner meaning. This is my personal, but obviously there are different point of view. Maybe you can easily say it's a matter of generation and time in life, but I personally enjoy my time also with a few students in the farm that were more out of this general vibe of chilling out.
What would be the opposite word for chilling out, or opposite term?
Intimate talk.
Intimate talk.
Yeah, I would say so.
Talk as in talking. Intimate conversation.
Conversation, intimate silence. I think the conversation is already a way of lower the intimacy between two people, because if you can enjoy and embrace the silence with two people and find yourself within it without any tension, this is the sort of intimacy talk in silence that I would like to reach. And I think our modern society has now two opposites in vibration. One is the alienation in front of the machine, and the other is the lost in the huge crowd. It's difficult to find. It's very evident this in places, cafes, where music is always part of the game. The silence somehow seems to be not part of what could be a meeting point.
Intimate, silence, talk. And where is the work part? Like working with your hand, craft, thinking, happens in this intimate silence.
Work is already something outside, because as mentioned in our conversation several times, for me the thinking and also the dialogue in the thinking is a very important approach. Like now, yes, you are somehow questioning and I'm answering, but already we are breaking this distance in a way that I wish your question will be more deep than my answer in this dialogue. And this would reach some point where we lose this sort of predetermined roles and we embrace each other into an intimate conversation. So that's why I always refuse the idea of hierarchy where there are few people maybe wiser or more educated theoretically on one side and students and crowd on the other side. I think this belongs very much in the idea of ancient theater, where the physical space was a very important possibility to experiment the relation, the distance between the humankind. And I want to recall one place that was fundamental in my life experience in China, the Bemayo, I'm wrong with all pronunciation, barely I can say in Italian, l'esercito di terracotta. So all this, we can call them statue, but I like to call memories of humans of that era that still live there, and the relation between them in this silent mode makes a huge narrative, because the silence is not anymore the words that you hear, but the dialogue you can dream in this given possibility.
Okay, I think I've tortured you enough, so that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guan. Okay, thank you. Time for coffee.